the show. This is Banter Frothing with Misop Baynun and the Porch Thumpers.
With special guests tonight, Eric Bellavia
and the rest of the team. He's with the East Boston Knights, the Yawkey League team. And to start the show, I was wondering, Eric, if you wouldn't mind telling us a little about the Yawkey League so people at home would know a little about the team that we're talking about.
Sure. Well, the Yawkey League has been around since the 1950s. It's been a big league in Boston for probably the last 17 years. In 1990, Dave McKay had taken the league over, and he had laid the foundation for the league the way it is right now. And in my opinion, it's the best amateur baseball league in Boston. He's the current president right now, and he runs the league with Mark DeRoche, who is the commissioner. So this is our 8th year in the Yawkey League, and you know, it's been a great run so far for us.
Excellent. And would you say the Yawkey League, as far as professional leagues around Boston, what is the quality level compared to, say, for example, the Cranberry League or the Boston Parks League or the Cape Cod League?
Well, they're very similar. The Cape Cod League is a league where kids in high school go to play, and 90% of the roster are from all over the country. 10% is from local. So that's really a college league. Mm-hmm. And our league is kind of a step below that, but it's a league where kids come to play from college during the season to refine their skills and try to get noticed maybe by independent baseball teams or Major League Baseball teams. A lot of their coaches will contact us directly and send their best players to play for us.
Right.
So the Yawkey League and the Park League and the Cranberry League, they're sort of similar, but I think over the last few years, the Yawkey League's kind of risen to the cream of that crop.
Now, I noticed that the Red Sox drafted Rich Hill. Was that from the Yawkey League directly?
No, he had spent some time with the Milton A's, the Al Thomas Athletics, and he had played for those guys when he was in high school. So he got through high school, played a little college ball with those guys too, and then the talent that he is, he got taken right away, and he's been in the lower minors until he got into the pros. He's a Yawkey League Hall of Famer right now.
Excellent.
Great guy. Met him myself personally.
Oh, really?
Guy, yeah.
And next to the Red Sox, so I guess the Yawkey League is the second choice if you're in Boston.
If you're in Boston, I believe that because a lot of former pros that play in our league, there are a lot of great teams that play in our league. We're lucky just to be included. We've worked hard over the last 8 seasons to have our team be a perennial playoff team, and that's something that we're proud of. But we've got guys that have bounced back between independent baseball and this amateur league. I mean, Jeff Allison, who's former first-round pick of the Florida Marlins, and he's a little older now and he's playing with us, and he still has it. But those are the types of guys that you face night in and night out. Mike Smith is another player who plays in the Yawkey League, plays for the Brighton Braves, and he's 38 years old, and he really brings it. So they raise the competition level.
Excellent. Now, just want to ask you, what was the reason that you got into the Yawkey League personally? What first got you into it?
Well, you'll meet my partner Jeff Harris here in a minute. He was really the idea behind doing it. We had talked about putting a baseball team in one of the leagues, and we could have got our team into any of the leagues that really we wanted to, but the Yawkey League is something that we really wanted, and we had to work hard for 2 years to get in there. We got denied the first time on our application, and the second year, we proved that we can collect the talent and the place to play and just the organization that they were looking for, because they don't just accept any team off the street, and we really didn't have a reputation.
Right.
So we had to kind of get in there, earn it, and that's what we did. And we worked very hard at this.
Yeah. And you made it into the Yawkey League, and then not this year, but the year before that, you almost won the championship. It was before I joined the team.
Yeah.
And that must have been an exciting year. If you could tell us a little about that.
It was a great year for us. It kind of put us on the map finally. We won a few division championships, and we had a couple first round exits and we got swept twice by Stoneham, and they were an expansion team also.
Oh.
And so we're kind of like, oh, we put all this work in, and these guys kind of just come in after us, and they got in the league really quickly, and it was more of a need of a team, and they came in and kind of stole our thunder, I thought.
Oh.
And I'm very close with Angelo Colucci, the owner of the Stoneham team.
Yeah, we scrimmaged them a lot in preseason.
Yeah, it's a really good group of guys, and they want to win as bad as we do. But the year that we were 25-5 2 years ago really put us on the map, and we ran through the playoffs, and we ran into a hot Somerville team, and Somerville's still the team that everybody wants to beat right now. They've got, I believe, 6 championships in a row, and they've got
like the Patriots. Almost,
yeah, they're a tough
better,
team, and I mean they keep us on our toes. They make us better, believe it or not, because we're not really gunning just for them, but we want to win the league, and we want to show some pride to our city of East Boston, where I grew up and where Jeff grew up, and baseball was a big deal in our community when we were growing up. And it's kind of faded a little bit, but there's still some pride there.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. And so you've been with the league. You've been there 5 years?
This is our eighth
Eighth
season.
year.
Yeah.
That you've been the manager.
Yes.
Oh, excellent.
I haven't got fired yet. I'm just
haven't
a bit
got
over 500 on my records.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And now, what would you say is some of the things that the team that impressed you with the team last year, maybe didn't impress you, but some things that we could work on that we need to improve on this year? And what would you say about the new team, the new players, and what kind of hope you have for the upcoming season? We've added a lot of interesting and very quality players, I think.
Yes, we always do add quality players. I think that the season where we went to the finals and we had a 25-5 record, and everything went well. And baseball is a funny sport because just as well as you can have success, you can take a step back too with the same players that we had. So we had some injuries, Jeff Allison being one of them. He was our top pitcher. We had some pitchers that we lost to independent baseball, and so it was kind of the new recruits had to kind of come in and step up and play under a lot of pressure. I mean, we're expected to win every game that we play, and these young guys came in and they did a fabulous job last year, but it kind of was a little bit of a learning curve, So these guys had to kind of figure out what East Boston Knights baseball was all about, and we made it into the playoffs, and it was a little bit of a disappointing record for us. We were just below 500 and grabbed the last seed, but we played a good playoff series, and I think that it was very important to have those young guys that we picked up last season kind of get a taste of what our baseball brand is about. Moving on to this year, we've suffered a few losses of some really good players, guys that we've come to depend on in the past. Some guys have outgrown the program. Some guys moved on to greener pastures. And I think that that's kind of, opened my eyes a little bit as a manager and a co-owner of the team, where you really have to be in touch with your players, and you really have to know what their thinking is at all times. And I'm the field manager, and I think that, my best job is really feeling out what everybody's thinking and how they feel about the game of baseball, and what they want to do as far as, do they want to be professional, do they want to just play here, or are they playing here for college or just for themselves? So you're going to kind of find out what their motivation is. And I learned a lot last year. I'm thankful for the season that we had, because for me, we went from 3 years of no success, of just playing out the string and trying to get through a season, and we started to taste success in year 4, winning our first division title, winning again the next year. And for me, we had no success and then a lot of success, and it was really no in between for me. And besides the championships, we haven't won yet, but in between, there was no growth for me as the manager. And last year, losing some of the players that we lost, that kind of lost some interest in what we were doing. So we figured the team was going in a different direction. So I'd like to take it
from the last season to this season, or from the championship season?
Well, I think it's twofold. I think you have from the championship run that we made to the next season, where we weren't as good, and you find out what kind of players you have on your team when things are going tough.
Right.
And we found out that some of those guys really weren't meant to be, you know, a EBK type of guy. And that's okay, because I'd rather go into a fresh season knowing what I have and who is dedicated to the program and who has the same vision that we have. It's very difficult to have 25 guys going in the same direction.
Right.
It really is
Right.
tough.
That's one of the most difficult things about being a manager, I would imagine, keeping everybody happy, because you only have 9 spots on the field, and everyone wants to believe that you have faith in them to be, to have the chance. And I felt you did an excellent job at that.
Thank you.
And that's probably one of the toughest parts, because a lot of people, they can fall out of way when they don't get enough playing time and whatnot. And
yeah, it's difficult because you form friendships with people over the course of the season, and some of these guys have been with us for 4 and 5 years. So to see the guys that were young, that were more capable of the guys that we had on the bench, kind of play for the last couple years, and now there's younger guys that are coming in and trying to earn spots, and they know what type of team that we are, so it's a big deal for them. So that's the difficult part of it, because we are like a family. We do a lot of things together. So to me, you have to have that camaraderie to be able to win a championship. And last year it kind of fell off a little bit with some of the things that happened during the season. But again, we've replaced that, and we feel like we've got quality guys now and quality personalities. And to me, as a baseball manager, I'm not all about a fantasy type of team where you get all the best players that you can and you throw them on a field like an all-star team and see if you can win. You can't win that way. I know that the Yankees did it in the late 90s, but their championships that they won, they had good baseball players that really loved the game, and those are the type of players that I'm looking for. I'm looking for really good baseball players that want to be part of something, that want to win, and that care of the team first and understand what their role is on the team. Theo Epstein says it all the time, the team is a sum of its parts. And when you have a machine, you have a lot of different parts on that machine that they've got to do their jobs, whether it be small or big, for that engine to run, or for that machine to run perfectly. And we had that a few years back, and we're looking to get back to there. But over the last 2 years, I've had that experience. So I feel like now I'm more geared towards the guys that are really good players that want to be here. We don't want guys that are here for a cup of coffee because they've got other bigger plans than what we're doing. And we're here to help. I mean, if you want to go pro,
if someone left and went pro, you would have no problem with
absolutely not, no. But when you're part of our program, you can work on your game. You can try to get the goals that you want personally, but also, the team's got to come before everything. And, if you want to become a pro, you have to go through, a tough road to get where you are. And a lot of the teams in the minors and along the way, they're not geared towards winning. They're geared towards the players that are there are working on their own game in order to get to that next step.
Right.
So it's kind of difficult to balance the both.
Right, because you're geared towards winning.
Right, always.
As well as the player promotion and whatnot.
Right. We don't win, we're a failure. We expect to win every single game we play. When we step on that field, we feel that tonight's the night, we're going to win again. And like last year, I said it was a little difficult going back and forth. You win one, you lose one, you take a couple steps forward, you take a couple steps back. But all in all, like I said, it was a good learning year for me.
Right. And there was a lot of new players last year, I take it.
Yeah, there was.
Okay.
Brandon Eaton is our general manager, and he's not with me today, but he does a fabulous job of
He really does.
really going out there.
Me,
yeah,
so.
he drafted you in the tryout. I
And
remember
you
the
too,
tryout.
I guess.
Yeah. Well, Brandon tells me, hey, I got these guys, and this guy plays here, and he does this, and we have a need to fill here. And I always tell Brandon, whatever you find for talent, just bring it in, and they'll practice with us and kind of mesh with us. And I'm a firm believer you're gonna work itself out. You come to practices, you work hard, you put your time in. Sometimes it doesn't work right away. You sit around and you're part of the team, but you show your dedication. So when you do have your shot, you have a quality team behind you, so you don't have to feel like I'm going to go out here and I have to do everything myself, and show these guys that I'm a good player or I can do this. You just go out there and do what do the job that we ask of you, and we have a quality team that's going to be there to support you and help you.
Right. Right. And it's so hard, especially with new players, because you don't have the time to watch them through the season.
Right.
And then you don't know how good they are and where to put them in at the beginning of the season. There's something that I'm looking to promote at some point, this thing called individual baseball, individual ball.
Yeah, we talked.
I was telling you about that.
Yeah.
And if you ever want to try that, that'd be great, where people compete for each position. The pitchers compete against the pitchers, the hitters compete against the hitters, and the fielders compete against the fielders. And you can find out who's doing well that week or whatnot.
Right. And to reiterate what I was saying, I won't take always the best talent over a good player that I know really cares about the game,
Right.
and he's going to be dedicated. Now, it's a summer ball, so a lot of these kids, we have adults on, I say kids, but, there are adults that play on this team, and they have to kind of balance their lives, Some of them work, some of them go to school.
Right. We're not
and whatever,
paying them thousands, or you're not paying them millions.
We're not paying them anything. And that's another challenge, because
Right.
we can't pay these guys. So how do you get the best talent? But
Yeah.
you ask a lot of your players to come in, give up their summers, and balance their lives around the game. And the guys that come and play for us, they put baseball first on that list. And you only have a small window of opportunity and time to play the game. So, those years that are so invaluable to you in your youth, if that's what you love to do and that's what you want to be part of, then you have to give it all or don't give anything, especially with us.
Excellent.
It's a lot to ask, it really is. But we find those guys that really care about our vision and buy in and be part of our family.
And can you, before we're bringing in Jose Paulino, the captain of the team, and Jeff Harris, the co-owner, with you. And they're going to join us in a second. But before we bring them in, I was wondering if you can make a plea to our viewers to come on down and see a few ball games. Where can they find out when we're playing?
Okay. Well, you can look online and Google East Boston Knights. We have a website. We have plenty of video for you guys to watch. We're in the newspaper on a weekly basis in the East Boston Times. There's stories there for you guys to read in the schedule. And you can go on to YawkeyBaseball.com, or you could Google Yawkey Baseball League, and you could look up the East Boston Knights, and you can see our schedule. It's a 32-game schedule. And our home field is in East Boston at the airport, and we also play at Malden Catholic. So we got two quality fields that we play at. And it's a 32-game season, and we play about 4 games a week. So it's kind of compacted into 2 months before the playoffs start. So if you guys want to come down and see what we're doing, we'd love to have it. We always have lots of fans there and people who, the parents of the players and just longtime people who know Jeff and I who live in East Boston, always going to come down and see what we're up to. Excellent. And they know we put a quality product out there. So, and then we're serious about doing that.
Great. All right. Well, let's bring in the other two.
Okay.
Please welcome Jeff Harris, co-owner of East Boston Knights, and Jose Paulino, the captain of the team. Please. Good job. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. And yeah, my pleasure. And we were just speaking about the team, and we're talking a lot about his fellow co-owner, Jeff Harris. And I'd like you to maybe tell us a little about what got you into owning this team and playing with the team and having a 400 on-base percentage with a 341 batting average was pretty phenomenal.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good year for me.
Yeah.
Still trying to get more playing time from this guy. But
Well, you just got to own the team. Oh, you do.
He always
still
is.
on the team, but that doesn't help me. But so I've been in the league since '96, and I'd been on many teams over the past 10 or 15 years. And back in 2010, we had the idea to start up our own team, or probably 2008 or 2009. And I approached Eric with the idea of putting our own team in the league. And
You were friends before?
yeah, we were friends for many years on a previous other baseball and softball teams, and we try to start up our own baseball team and start it from the ground, just building the organization right from the very beginning, from the logos to the uniforms to everything, recruiting players. So yeah, that's how it started. We kind of just got together on weekends and would talk about people and what we're going to do, fundraising ideas and stuff like that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And you had a really good season. What would you say was the key to your 400 on-base percentage?
I like to work the count a lot. I definitely like to get as many walks as I can. And that's it, knowing your situation, being prepared for every game, going up there with a plan and what I'm looking for a pitch and my at-bats and executing. So yeah, it was a very good year for me.
And how many? You
personally.
had quite a few stolen bases. How many did you get? 6?
I think I had 6 or 7,
Okay.
down from about 2 years ago. I had 27 or 28.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're aggressive when we're on the bases, and I have to say Jeff is one of the best base runners I've ever come across. Smart, knows how to steal bases, knows how to take a lead, knows when to be aggressive. Sometimes he gets a little bit crazy out there, but I think that that's part of his game and makes him dangerous as a base runner. And I think when I figured that out midway through the season, when he had 20-some-odd steals, I said,
A few years ago, yeah.
we get you 30 steals this year. And I kind of took the leash off of him ever since. And, he's a smart baseball player. Situational things, bunting, and, but base running is something that I don't even have to think about when he's on the bases. He's great.
And as well as Jose Paulino and Victor LeBron, quite a few stolen bases yourself.
Yeah.
And an excellent year. 283, I believe you batted.
Something
And
like that. I don't.
341.
I try to
OBP.
stay. I try to stay away from
Don't
that.
think about that. But it's a lot more work for you, I guess, as the captain trying to get the team on the same kilter as well as playing. Does that affect? How difficult is that to combine the two?
It gets difficult, but to be honest with you, that's why like a lot of my guys on the team are my teammates. So we have good connections. So for example, with Mike Yo, I don't have to tell him anything up the middle. Kenny Polanco on third base, I don't have to tell him much anymore. So we've been playing together for a couple of years. It makes it easier now. But at the beginning, it is tough because we had to call timeout and bring everybody in and go over the signs and go over the plays. So it takes a little bit of toll, but it's getting easier now with the core.
Oh, so now it's a flow.
Yeah, it's kind of flowing now. Most of the guys have been playing together for at least 4 years, so
Oh,
it's becoming easy, yeah.
oh, excellent. And you've been there how long?
I've been here this is going to be my 6th season now, actually, so.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
We've had quite a turnover, but we're, as far as players go in outfield and pitching, but our infield, luckily, has stayed together, and that's been a driving force. Our defense is unbelievable. 2 years ago, we set the Yawkey League record with the least errors
Really?
made, yes, and we had the
Excellent.
highest fielding percentage, I think, in almost 40 years of
That's so
the
key.
stats that they kept, yeah.
Because if you can get some pitchers to give you ground balls, then give the infield a lot of work, and you can deal with it, and that's a good recipe to victory.
Yeah, and Jose does a great job for me because, they tune the manager out a lot. And, we have a good mix of players on the team, Hispanic, mostly Dominican, with the white guys. And he kind of bridges that gap. Sometimes we have a little bit of a language barrier, so some of the new guys that we bring in. And, Jose takes that on himself. And I don't know how he can separate that from playing, because he does a great job playing, but there's a lot of pressure on him too to kind of be my guy out there and my eyes and my ears on the field. So I'm lucky to have him.
Excellent. And how do you feel about the team this year? I've noticed in the practices that it seems to be a positive vibe. I don't know why or how, but seems like there's some new additions. What do you think about the?
Well, we came off a high horse going to the finals and, losing the finals. So last year was a little bit of a stumble,
Yeah.
getting back up on your feet and stuff, a lot of target on your back. A lot of the teams want to take you down. But, this year now we're back to, we know where we're supposed to be. We know what we did wrong. We're correcting our rates. More commitment from guys showing up, especially key guys, So it'll come around this year. And I think, like you said, like everything's going smooth, slowly and everything. The team is working hard. I see a lot of guys that haven't showed up to a practice, but if you go look at it, their social media, they're working like dogs. So
Right.
everybody's working, everybody will be back, and our chemistry will be back how it's supposed to be, and I think it'll be a successful year.
Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of players are playing in college, and so they can't be here with us anymore. And a lot of players, they just, they live far away, I guess. And
Yeah, I mean, I think it's during the college season they are not allowed to practice or play or be with any
Oh.
other teams.
oh, okay.
So it's a NCAA rule. So you won't see any of the college kids practicing with us during their season. But while they're in fall ball beforehand, and when they have some time off on their winter breaks and stuff, you may see a couple guys pop their faces in and maybe take a couple hacks and throw the ball a little bit. But it's just showing your face and being part of, the team again. The camaraderie and getting the 25 guys going in the same direction. So, but I think this year too is a lot less pressure on us. Last year was a pressure-packed season, I think, and I think this year we're getting back to having fun again, and I think we're having fun in practice and just knowing that we can slip up a little bit and still be a playoff team. I think that really fuels us a lot too.
Excellent. And when will the new schedule for the upcoming season come out?
Usually comes out about the end of April, and I know we put a
First
countdown.
week of May.
Yeah.
Usually
First
the
week
first
of-
week of May.
When you start? Because
So
usually the first game's
week of
first
May.
week of May.
Usually the schedule will come out in the first week of May, and the first week of games will be the second week of May. They give
schedule-
you, give you
Scheduled
right
day
around a
for
week.
Yawkey to start is the 12th or 13th right now. So
Starting day.
yeah, that's the
Oh.
We
schedule.
usually have a countdown on our website, and we use his birthday as the target date.
It's
Oh.
usually opening day right around my birthday, May 12th. Give
Yeah,
or
we
take,
had-
if you need to get me
Yeah,
a
May,
present or
May
anything.
12th
Oh,
or 13th,
excellent.
they already said it's going to be the first day.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Then usually the college kids will come back probably a week right after that, so you only deal with not having the college kids maybe a week, couple of games at most. In the second to third week of May, those guys all come back and join the team.
Oh, great.
So it's not our team, only our team. It's all the teams in the Yawkey League. They got to deal with a week to 2 weeks of not having certain guys, key positions, college athletes not being able to be there.
Oh, so those guys won't come back until what date?
Second week of May,
the
third
second
week,
week of May,
depending on
okay.
playoffs too.
Some schools play the playoffs the first week, some play the second week, and some move on. So
Depending on how far they
Yeah.
get.
Mm.
Okay.
And we're lucky enough to have really great players. So sometimes we have to wait till the draft, usually about the first week in June. So some of those guys, after their college season's over, if they feel like they're going to get drafted or get a call to be signed, especially the pitchers, they'll just take some time off without throwing and see if their name's called. And if it's not, they fall back with us.
Excellent.
So
All right. Well, please come down and see the East Boston Knights this year. Check them out at yawkeybaseball.com and then search for East Boston Knights. And anything you'd like to say to the people to bring them down to our games before we leave?
Well, our schedule is on eastbostonnights.com, so just check in there to see our schedule as well as yawkeybaseball.com.
And any night you're down there on a Monday night, Richard Suhu, one of my many managers on the bench, it's Santapio's night, so you can grab yourself a pie. You can come down and have a beer and watch the game and see some quality baseball. Support the hometown guys.
All right. And thank you so much for joining the first show of Banter Frothing with Misop Baynun and the Porch Thumpers. And I'd like to thank the band, Uche and Butch, for joining us tonight. And we'd like to play a little outro music for you, and we hope to see you next time. Ciao.